Started. All right.
What a beautiful background you have today.
Is that for
Were you talking to me about the Christmas one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very.
I wish I was actually there.
Putting all of us in the holiday spirit, I think.
That's right. It's a good day for that warm fire too, I'll tell you. Well, we'll go ahead and get this meeting kicked off here. My name is Anthea Martin. I'm chair of the State Housing Board. We are going to have start off our meeting today with a private activity bond meeting. This will go for about 45 minutes, and then we will move on to our regular meeting. So if I could ask Andrew to start with introductions.
So Anthea, this is Allison. Andrew and I are going to flip. He's going to do the housing board, and I'm going to do the PAB introductions.
Keeping me on my toes. I'm game.
I apologize. I have to step out early, so appreciate your flexibility with this adjustment. I'm Allison George. I'm the director for the Division of Housing, and just wanted to wish Rick Garcia the absolute best. This Friday is his last day with us as the executive director of DOLA. And then welcome Maria Combra, excuse me. So Maria is our new executive director. She actually started December 4th. She comes to us from the governor's office, and we're excited to have her with us. She comes not only with governor's office experience, but also having worked with Westminster. And so great local government experience as well. Maria, do you want to say hi to everyone?
Thank you, Allison, and thank you all so much. I'm excited to be here and learn more about what you're doing. And I just want to thank you for your commitment to make sure that we can continue to build the most affordable housing choices in our state, which is a top priority for the governor and of course, the Department of Local Affairs. And I look forward to getting to know you as I get across the state. But thanks again for your public service to getting this done. Thank you. Thanks, Allison.
Thank you, Maria. We're excited to have you, and some great energy that you're bringing with us, and love that. Thank you. With the updates, I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed on the special session. Yes, Governor Polis announced the special legislative session. It convened November 17th to address skyrocketing home values, increasing property taxes, and increased cost burdens on renters. And so where this overlaps in particular with the Division of Housing is with emergency rental assistance. And so the General Assembly passed Senate Bill 23B-1001 with $30 million of emergency rental assistance. And so with that direction provided by the legislature, we quickly started moving and actually released request for applications November 29th. And that request for applications is specifically for administrators of the emergency rental assistance program. So this is something that we have been doing with partners since COVID started. And so this is continuing that emergency program as we're looking at increases in evictions. So really trying to have the best impact that we can on renters throughout the state. Request for applications closes December 18th, and we're working to get those funds started out the door by January 31st. So I wanted to make sure the State Housing Board had that update and know that we are actively working to meet these needs that Coloradans have throughout the state. And so much going on as we work toward the executive order directives. provided for our efficiencies. And so we're also working with our contract burn down. We had 55 contracts that were identified as lagging and needing to move in order for us to focus on the deals that we're doing today. And so I'm proud to report that we have 46 of those contracts that have made it to their terminal status, with 40 of them having been fully executed. So those funds are starting to go out the door. Very excited about that. And we have many more that are going into final form this week for full execution by the end of the year. So much progress, and very excited to see that work moving forward. But more to come, and please do watch out for our newsletters so that you can get the latest and greatest. With that, this is a very important meeting, and I do not want to delay the progress of the annual private activity bond meeting, where the Division of Housing and the State Housing Board look at those allocations and the priorities for PAB for next year. So with that, I will turn it over to Anthea to chair the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Any questions from the board? Appreciate that update. So we will kick it off with the project manager's report, and leading those efforts is Wayne McClary.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. And I've been the PAB manager for a couple of years, actually 3 years now. And during the past year, I'm pleased to announce that we've got a bit more of a team effort looking at our private activity bonds. I'll give them a quick shout out. We've had Natalie Wolk, who's helped develop what we call our PAB cap tracker. And that essentially gives us almost a real-time analysis of what's happening on our private activity bonds when we get them issued. And then also we've got two fairly new employees. Dee English, she joined us, the development team, back in October of 2022. And she's one of our newest devos, but she's not our newest devo. And she's helping to keep all the issuances and the assignments and the delegations as we move back and forth, helping keep those straight, and also helping us get our invoices. And also working with Dee has been Lisa Blakeney, and Lisa is one of our new underwriters. She joined DOLA DOH back in February. So with that team effort, we've been able to come up with a lot more information, a lot more data. And I'm going to summarize this overall in the next few minutes here kind of quickly. If you go to your packet, and going in through the packet, you can see on the first page, after you get through the introduction to as far as the projects themselves listed, you get to something on page 3, and that's called our private activity bond kind of priorities. Essentially, these the private activity bonds are basically, they are comes through the U.S. Treasury Department, and they are a tax device. So every state cannot takes its allocations. We can't do with them what we will. We have a certain list of based upon Section 42 of the IRS code, and for Colorado, for the last dozen years or more than that, our priorities have been primarily rental housing with for sale housing. And also our second priority has been what we're calling industrial development bonds. In reality, those are what beginning farmer bonds, and those are bonds issued for farmers for farm acquisition. But these priorities, we're proposing to keep these in 2024 the same as what we've had since 2014. And if you look on page 3 of your packet, you can see that we used to just have rental and for sale housing, and we just included the bonds, and we moved up the for sale housing to the same. When we're talking about for sale housing, there we're talking primarily single family homes, and those are through private activity bonds that are issued by CHAFA. Multifamilies are issued by the various municipalities and some of the people that are representing this call. Okay, the next part we're looking at is on page 4. You can see overall private activity bond state eligible types. This is across all the states. Like I said, we're focused primarily on single-family mortgages and qualified affordable residential mortgages. Okay. On pages 5, we're showing basically a quick summary. This year was a little unique. We had about $35.9 million of applications, and we for applications for our statewide balance this November. We had a total balance of about $44.355 million available. So this year was a little unique in that we were pretty much able to grant everybody every application what they were looking for, and we did have a bit of an excess balance. Rather than rewarding projects with excess cap, we are making the recommendation to the board today, and we'll go over that a little bit later, to assign our excess over to Colorado Housing Finance Authority, CHAFA.
Hey, Wayne, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
That surprises me. Are individuals aware that you all have PAB available? I mean, do you think it's just that they didn't know that those dollars were there?
There's been a number of things that have happened recently. Project activity bond demand is primarily relating to future demand for projects. And as we have seen some of our soft funders, us as well as hosts and other agencies, those dollars have been a little more scarce second half of this year and probably the first half of 2024. So basically the demand for project activity bonds is kind of forward-leaning. It's probably a leading indicator of affordable development. I would think that we had a little less demand this year than last year because of that lowering demand.
Okay. And are they coming to you before they go to CHAFA? Are they coming to you for all the PABs or for just a piece of it and still going to CHAFA?
Right. They're coming to us for smaller pieces. We've got inside of our documents, we show CHAFA's balance about $600 million of cap. Our balance is like 30 was until September 15th. Our balance is about 13 million. And then after the relinquishment date, we went up to 44 million. So this year we had about 13 million more than last year. However, people not knowing about it was not through lack of discussing. I participated in several webinars with CHAFA, and also we had a fairly big turnout at the Housing Colorado Conference this year in October. So agencies and municipalities are well aware of the property activity bonds we have built the state. Yes, Sam. Oh, Sam, your hand is up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Wayne. Can you give us a sense of how much in bond authority was turned back into the state this year from the 22 allocation from various communities?
Ooh, I don't. Well, basically, I can give you a quick rundown. We had $13 million. I actually had a chart. I don't have it with me right now, so I don't have the numbers memorized. But after our statewide balance allocation, after the municipalities, was about $13 million. And then after September 15th, it went up to 44. So my math, that means about $29 million was relinquished to the statewide balance. Last year, I do have this number memorized. Last year, we had a balance of $15 million before the September 15th relinquishment. And then after the September 15th, we had 32. So last year, we got we got $17 million. This year, we got 29. And this year, part of that relinquishment was we did have a couple of fairly large municipalities that did not do their carry forward election in time for whatever reason. And we're not trying to assign blame, but just that things happen. And so a couple of those came to us. In this case, it was Grand Junction and also City of Greeley. Grand Junction did give us an application to get that back. So we were probably high about $12 million in normal in our allocation for statewide balance in November.
So it's hard to believe that demand has subsided, but do you attribute some of that?
Demand has not subsided. No, demand has not subsided. Basically, when I'm out there discussing PA project activity bonds with the various applicants, I'm also talking with them and getting an idea as far as what their aggregate basis is. I'll try not to get too much into the weeds, into the details, but basically, for applicants that have a large appetite for these, for bigger development costs, we've been steering them towards agencies that have a much bigger basis from bonds, such as Jaffa. And that's where a couple of the applications that we've got today have gotten some Jaffa cap, as well as cap from us. But generally speaking, our awards will range between anywhere from 3 million to up to 10 or 12 million at the most. And so it's harder for us to fund projects if you've got $100 million a $60 million project and you've got an aggregate basis of $30 million. The state is not a good source for that. Our cap is more like to help top off their cap to make sure that they don't fall beneath the 50% test for aggregate basis.
Do you think that the rise in interest rates had anything to do with some of those communities and projects maybe returning some of the bond cap?
I'm probably not qualified to talk about that. I'll defer to Anthea on that one. So on interest rate discussions, but yeah, it probably has some effect.
I'll just answer that very simply and say that I have not seen a deal fall apart and not move forward that has had the proper bond allocation in place. There's just larger gaps, as everyone on this call could probably attest to, is that people are needing more money to fill the gaps, so they're just taking longer and they feel a lot more painful.
Right.
Wayne, can you one final question? Can you remind the board what the time frame is once you get the allocation, like some of the applicants that are applying today or hoping to get an award today? What's the time frame that they have in order to commit those bonds?
Yes. One application today is from the Colorado Agricultural Development Authority, and based upon a recommendation, they need to close on a bond on December 22nd of this year. So basically, we are planning on getting that award letter out to them if we have a successful board meeting today, and if the recommendation goes through, then we'll send them the award letter so that they can close on that bond. For the other award applicants, if their applications are passed or recommended by the board today, then we will get those award letters out to them within 10 days. And the award letters will specifically refer to doing a carry forward election for next year. And that's something that each of them will have to do, because our cap does expire at the end of the year. So they will have to do a carry forward election, and that way they can use it for 3 years.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And
We've got one more question from James, Wayne.
okay.
Hi, Wayne. I'm just curious, any of the PAB projects that we're going to talk about today, have they been turned down by Jaffa? Do you know that? Do you know those, if they have or not?
I can't comment on that, but I don't think any of these projects today have been turned down by Jaffa. But one of the requirements that we do ask for our applications is for them to have other support other than just a statewide balance.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
okay. And okay. Getting messages, and I'm just going to keep going back through this. Okay. All right. And I'm going to share my screen. I'm not sure if I'm sharing that or not. So let me share that real quick. And make sure you all can see this. Can you all see this? Okay, perfect. Okay, yes. I will continue on. That might have been what I was getting pings for. Okay, so as I mentioned, there's we have in this on page 5 of our document, we're showing you the criteria that we use for making our reviews and project feasibility. We're also looking at the ability for the project to close and with the shovel readiness of the project, as well as for the applicant. And we're looking at the ability to increase the supply of affordable housing. Okay, this next chart is an eye chart. It's in your packet. but essentially it shows you the Colorado Private Activity Bond local use summary. And so you can kind of walk through this. This kind of just tells you as far as, for instance, each locality and then how much they've gotten as far as getting a direct allocation or getting an assignment or their use of their bonds. Go through a few more pages of that. Then we get to something called the balances by issuer. And this is actually on our website. So we use what our PAB cap tracker, tracking the numbers. It's almost a fairly real time. And basically you can go to, anybody that can access our site, can access this sort of private activity bond portion. And then basically they can go from here and see, for instance, in this case, what the city of Denver has about 405 million of cap available. And this is something we keep on a real-time basis, keeping this updated. Next group of charts shows our bonds issued in 2023. Basically just shows that so far this year we've issued about 101 million has been issued on single family, and on multifamily about 760 million has been issued, and on beginning farmer bonds about 1.4 million. This chart here, this is a summary. This is the eye chart as well. This is a summary chart that shows you the what's been happening on the private activity bonds since between 2015 and 2023. This kind of gives you an idea as far as multifamily bonds issued. We also we show the refunded bonds. For the purpose of this meeting, I will not get into what refunded bonds are. That's a whole nother discussion. So if you really want to geek out and learn a lot of things, you can go into refunded bonds. Okay.
Wayne, we have a question from Nancy.
Okay, Nancy, go ahead.
Thank you. I had this question when I was looking at the material. I'm sorry, I can't. My video just doesn't work with this Hangouts. At any rate, can you explain the farmer, that category? Is it new farmers or?
Yes, basically.
Like that?
Yeah.
I didn't understand that.
Yeah, that is. It took me a while to understand that one too, Nancy. So don't feel bad about it. Basically, the broad category is called industrial development bond. And as an industrial development bond, it's the category, the specific that we use. Say in New York, industrial development bonds means something. In Colorado, our industrial development bonds tend to be beginning farmer. And for all that farmland that you see, primarily like along 287, going south or going north towards Brush, towards Sterling, basically for farms, they are using bonds to do low interest acquisitions, and they're using bonds to accomplish that. So this is the vehicle that they can use in agriculture to allow them to do a much lower than market interest acquisition of farmland.
And is this for new farmers or for small farmers?
I can't tell you as far as what size of the farms. I just know that it's handled by Jim Rubin, and he's the executive director of the Colorado Agricultural Development Authority.
Okay,
So
I really
wanted to expand upon that. He probably could, but it's a lot more detailed.
It says beginner farmers. That's very. I appreciate that. Thank you, Candace, because I would hate that we're using the money for these huge agri-industrial complexes, but for beginning farmers, I think it's terrific. Okay, thank you.
Okay. And for the next part, I think we're going to move into the application reviews, and I will continue to share my screen. And these will be, I'll turn this over to, do I have one more chart? Hang on, I think I do. Nope. So we'll get into the reviews, and I'll turn this over to Lisa Blakeney and Dee English. So take it away.
Thanks, Wayne. Okay, so the first applicant is the city of North Glen, and the project is Glen Park Village in Adams County. It's an acquisition rehab to preserve 26 affordable units, and their target closing date is April of 2024. In order to meet the 52% aggregate basis, the project needs about 3.8 million in PAB cap. They have 2.26 million of local PAB cap committed. And so with the addition of our recommendation of 1.8 million, it's going to cover 55.6% of their expected aggregate basis. The percentage is a little over 55%, but the percentage should decrease as the aggregate basis increases due to expected cost increases. So that's that one. The next one, the applicant is Boulder Housing Partners. The project is Penrose Place in Boulder County. This is an adaptive reuse and new construction of 115 units. The existing office building structure will be partially preserved, and then 4 new buildings will be constructed on the site. Their target closing date is July 2025. Community support is high with local PAB committed as well as soft debt. In order to meet the 52% aggregate basis, the project needs approximately 34 million in PAB cap. Anticipated 2024 assignments of 22.8 million plus our recommendation of statewide balance cap of 12 million. It will cover 53.1% of their expected aggregate basis. And we have the next one, the applicant is Douglas County Housing Partners, and the project is the Sophia, also known as Meridian Senior Apartments in Douglas County. This is a new construction of 160 units for seniors 55 plus. The target closing date is February 2024. 52% of the aggregate basis is 31.3 million. They have 29 million of local PAB cap committed. There was also a statewide balance cap award last year of 1.4 million. So combined with this new statewide balance recommendation of 2.5 million, the proposed PAB total will cover 54.6 of their expected aggregate basis. And then my final project, the applicant is the City of Grand Junction, and it's for anticipated future pipeline projects in Mesa County. The city was not able to execute their paperwork for carry forward of their 2023 PAB direct allocation prior to the September 15th relinquishment deadline. So the city submitted a statewide balanced PAB cap application asking to be awarded an amount equal to their original 2023 PAB direct allocation, which they will then carry forward for use on future pipeline projects. And staff recommendation for the statewide balance cap is 4,031,651. And now I will turn it over to Dimitri English.
Thank you, Lisa. So the Colorado Agricultural Development Authority, also known as CADA, applied for a land acquisition project in Kit Carson County. And the purpose of the authority is to provide low interest rate financing to Colorado farmers, ranchers, and agricultural processors. And the CADA loan program is known as the Beginning Farmer Program. So it does target beginning farmers. Because CADA's project request for bond cap was determined after the September 15th relinquishment deadline, CADA did apply for this project from the statewide balance in an amount of $616,000, and staff does recommend the full amount of that award. The next project is let's see. That one is Arvada Housing Authority, and they are applying for the Marshall Point Apartments project in Jefferson County. This is new construction of 260 units. The target closing date for this project is June of 2024. And as you can see on the chart there, 52% of the aggregate basis is about $64 million in cap. The project has $9 million in local PAB cap already committed, with another $50 million in local PAB cap projected in 2024. The statewide balance request is $5 million, and that would be a total aggregate basis of 54.68, and staff does recommend $5 million. And The next project is from the City and County of Denver Housing Stability Office, HOST. They applied for the 4995 Washington Street project in Denver County. This is new construction of 170 units. The target closing date on this project is November of 2024. And 52% of aggregate basis is approximately $50 million in PAB cap. 20 million in local PAB cap has been committed, and 23 million in local PAB cap is projected for 2024. And the statewide balance request is $10 million. The proposed total PAB total would be 53.9% of aggregate basis, and staff recommends $10 million for this project. We'll now turn it over to Wayne to present CHAFA.
My chart's a lot easier to present than Dee's and Lisa's. So this one is CHAFA. There's not a whole lot extra to say. Basically, we did have internal discussions as far as what to do with that additional cap. Like I said, this was a little bit of a unique year. For us, it's more important since we do not have the option of doing a carry forward election on a statewide balance. Neither does CATA. So basically the Colorado Agricultural Development Authority, they also are limited like the state where they cannot carry forward their project activity bond allocation forward 20 years. So we're essentially trying to get the best use of it. So what we looked at and in the time period as during our review is we felt that we checked with CHAFA, and then basically if we awarded our balance to CHAFA and specifically earmarking that for multifamily affordable residential projects, that is something that they can do. And I understand that we've done that in the past. So this year, the magic number is 8.408326. So basically, if you're looking at the balances by issuer, and then those numbers will be updated once we make get these changes approved. So overall, we're looking at an overall balance of, we started out with a cap of this November, 44,355,977 to be exact, and the amount that we have recommending for awards are 44,355,977. So, and I think that's about it as far as our portion. And I'm not sure if inside of the packet we have the other items in there. And there's a couple other items we covered inside of our, usually Andrew Predis comes in at this time. Allison, I think you're subbing for Andrew now. So I think we're ready to convene for the, we have to make, we made a recommendation on their statewide balance priorities. And then also we would allow some time for public comment for the statewide balance. Oh, there he is. I'm deferring to APs. I'm backing off.
First thing I'd like to do is, if you can stop sharing your screen, Wayne, Laura can put up the general meeting slides again. Want to certainly open it up for questions on any of the projects or the recommendation for CAP awarded to CHAFA. Sam, back a couple slides, Laura.
Thank you, Wayne, for that presentation. Andrew, what's the fee that that DOH would collect for issuing bonds for projects this year?
The statutory fee, I believe, is 0.027% of the awarded bond amount. So $8 million of bonds are awarded by an authority. Multiply that times 0.0027, and that's the amount of the fee that goes to the state for our administration and processing of the entire PAB cap portfolio each year.
And is that the same as last year then?
It is, yes. I don't believe that amount has changed since 2021. I believe it was 2021, legislation was passed by the General Assembly that fixed the processing fee. So there is no more distinguishment between direct allocation fee as well as statewide balance fee. There is now just one flat fee for issuance of PAB that DOLA collects as the administrator of the program.
And is that the same fee that Jaffa would collect if an applicant went to them for bonds?
So those are different fees that we're talking about. So I don't want to speak for Jaffa, but I believe that many issuers, Jaffa being one of them, the Main Street Housing Authority could be another one, might charge a developer a fee for issuing those bonds. The fee that the state charges is in statute, and it is just for the overall administration of the PAB program, kind of tracking the comings and goings of all the CAP. So it's absolutely possible that an issuer might have their own fees on top of what the state charges to anybody and everybody, the same fee for tracking all of this.
Thank you, Andrew.
Anything else from the board in terms of individual projects questions? If not, we can, Anthea, go to a vote for the PAB cap allocations.
Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you again, Wayne, for that presentation. It was very concise and appropriate. Appreciate it. Now that we've gone through most of the comments from the board, I'd like to ask if we can have a motion for approval for all of the deals that were submitted for the PAB balance. James Martinez, you have a question?
Yeah, I need to recuse myself for one of the projects.
Okay, which one?
4995 Washington.
Okay, so if I could ask for a motion for approval for all of the projects that have been presented with the exception of, sorry, I'm trying to find that one here, 4995 Washington.
So moved.
Correct.
Second.
Great. Thank you, LaDawn. And I had asked for a motion. I don't know who provided that motion.
Sam did.
Okay. Thank you, Sam. Great. Thanks for the second, LaDawn. All those in favor signified by aye or a hand raise.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? James Martinez is recusing himself. Or I'm sorry, he's not. We're doing everything except for that one. I'm catching on here, guys. Okay. Wonderful. Well, congratulations to all of the applicants. And then separately, we will do 4995, the City and County of Denver. If we could have a motion, please, for approval for that application.
I'll move that, Nancy Jackson.
Thanks, Nancy.
Second. This is LaDawn.
Thanks for the second, LaDawn. All those in favor signified by aye or a hand raise.
Aye.
Any opposed? James Martinez is recusing himself on this one, for the record. And that one passes as well. Thank you to the board for that. And again, congratulations to all the applicants. It looks like the next on the agenda is the recommendation of the statewide balance priorities. Who will be presenting this?
That'll be me.
Okay, thanks, Andrew.
Just to give you all some historical context, in your packet, you see a history of the state's priorities for issuing the statewide balance. So as Wayne and team explained, of the nearly $700 million of PAB cap that is allocated to Colorado every year, half of that goes to statewide authorities like CHAFA and the Agricultural Development Authority. The other half is allocated to cities and counties throughout the state who meet a certain population threshold. The remainder this year was, I think Wayne said, it was approximately $15 million. That remainder is available to any city and county who does not receive an automatic formula allocation. So you, the State Housing Board, are tasked with setting the state's priorities as to what to do with that statewide balance cap every year. For the last number of years, the priorities have been for rental housing and for sale housing, as well as industrial development bonds. And so staff is recommending that we continue to set those as our priorities, as those have been the kind of, the highest demand and need area throughout the state over the last, number of years.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Is there another slide here?
So from here, certainly, you all are, if you like, able to, to opine on what you would like to do in terms of statewide balanced priority. We do need to, coming up, take a break and wait until 2 o'clock when we will open up the meeting for public comment. We posted the agenda. We, as you said, Anthea, we moved through it a little bit more efficiently and expeditiously. So we have some slack in our schedule. But since we posted, we are going to take public comment about setting the statewide balance priorities at 2 o'clock. We will stick to that. And so from here, if there are no questions from the board about the statewide balance priorities, I think we can kind of, perhaps adjourn, or take a break, recess the meeting until 2 o'clock, at which time we can open up the meeting for, I think it's 10 minutes for public comment. If anybody from the public wants to make a comment about the use of the statewide balance cap, they can do so at that time. And then once that public comment period is finished at 10 after 2, you all can take a vote on next year's statewide balance priorities.
Sounds great, Andrew. We will reconvene at 2 o'clock.
Yep. So we'll call the meeting into recess for the moment and reconvene at 2 o'clock. Laura, let's stay on and put up a little slide placard that says, meeting in recess, public comment available at 2 o'clock. And Sam, I can see you. You're welcome to work away with your camera on. If you want to turn it off, since the public is waiting and watching, that's up to you. But I think that's what most folks are going to do, is turn off the camera while we're in recess.
Sam, if you're staying on, I just wanted to compliment you on you and Thea's questions. You guys and Nancy, that's the most questions we've had to field on PABs in a number of years. So thank you for always keeping it. We all look forward to your questions. Sam and Thea, we know we can ask your questions. We know we're good to go. So.
One of the comments I'd have is that in years past, we always had presentations by usually Brian Dale, one of the experts in the field of the PAB. And I know Brian is now since then retired, and a presentation from Chaffa. And I thought that was particularly helpful for new board members to kind of understand the program. I might want to suggest that kind of continue in the future especially for the new board members, to kind of get a real sense of what the PAB program is about and what some of the challenges are and what some of the requirements are. But